Howdy, I'm Catherine and I'm the land developer.
My name is Laura Bernaldez and I'm an architect.
My name is Gitika and I'm a construction manager.
My name is Yamini and I'm a construction manager.
I'd like to thank you all for being here today, and our team is excited to show you what we've developed for RIVERTREE Academy. So to start, the overall vision for RIVERTREE Academy is to create a private Christian boarding school to educate the under-resourced students from the Como neighborhood in Fort Worth, Texas. So why Como? Historically, Como has been a neighborhood with high poverty, high crime, and low education. As you can see from these demographics, the median income in Como is about $17,000 less than Fort Worth. The average housing value in Como is about half of the average housing value in Fort Worth, which affects the resources available to the public schools through the property taxes that are paid. And also the educational attainment in Como is significantly less than Fort Worth, with 52% of the population having less than a high school diploma and 14% having a high school or equivalent, for a combined 66%. So RIVERTREE Academy wants to change this by giving students the opportunity to improve the path that their life is on. So taking that into consideration, our concept is to create a warm, inviting campus where the students will be excited to live, and also to provide a safe and healthy environment where the students can grow not only mentally but also spiritually. So our campus is going to have a red barn to serve as a central gathering area. We're also going to have the school building, a recreation center, 4 student dormitories around the school, 10 staff houses, and 2 guest houses. And now I'll let Laura talk more about the design.
Okay, to go off of what Catherine said, so for starters, we all kind of sat down and talked about what we wanted. We decided we wanted to get rid of the administration building they already had just because we wanted to build on that land, and I mean it would have been more money to put the elevator and all that in anyway, so we just decided to demo it. And also we decided, I know that the client really wanted cottages, but we wanted to showcase this dorm idea because we think it could probably be a better solution than what they're thinking, so we'll see how they take it. But for starters, when we thought of the design, we split up the site into zones, in which, since we have limited posters, I'm just going to explain them. So for this, we kind of thought of it as what is more accessible to certain people. So for the students, like the school, the dorms, and the rec needed to be right there. Especially the school too, because we wanted the cafeteria to be there, so we wanted it to be next to the dorms. And then staff, and then a public zone. So the public zone is this space right here, and that's where our red barn is. And so it's kind of isolated, and it kind of stands out as a hierarchy to the site. And then we found this part of the site to be more private, so that's where we wanted to keep the staff houses and our guest houses. And so also for the program, like why we decided to do this, for the dorms, we didn't want to use up all the land, so maybe if they grow, they'll have room to do that. Our dorms right now will consist of 40 kids per dorm and 1 RA, so that alone will take care of the 200, so if they needed to expand, they could. And also, we decided to do a rec center, so that way it would give the students kind of more choices for schooling, and also another revenue opportunity. We put like 2 cardio rooms in, and maybe they could rent them out for dance classes in the evenings, and that's like another way besides the barn. We're using the barn as the chapel, that way they can save money instead of making 2 totally different buildings, and that way later on if they get enough revenue, then they can build their whole new chapel, like however they want to do it. So for the barn, we added enough square footage to take in all the students and all the faculty at once, whether they're doing chapel or an assembly or, you know, a dance or something like that, or also for a wedding venue to accommodate however many guests they want. And the location was put there that way to have direct access to this pond, so maybe they want to do an outside ceremony up there and then use the barn as the reception area. And that's about our concept.
We are here to present the construction plan and proposed sequence of the project. The site is located at 4274 Timberview Drive, Golf Course. The institution type, it is an institutional type project, and the phasing is, we have divided it into 5 phases. And in the first phase, the major construction will be going on, the school, the red barn, dorm, and staff housing, and in the other 4 phases, we extend the capacity of dorm, staff housing, and introduce recreational facilities. site logistics, this is our site with the blue area as the proposed construction area and the green areas as material, site office and site services areas. Now we see the construction sequence of the plant.
This is how the phasing of the site will be done. So our barn and the school will be created first with the dorm and the staff housing out there. And in the second phase we have another dorm coming up, so the capacity of the dorm and the staff housing keeps on increasing as we move on with our phases. And then the recreation facilities will be created.
Okay, so now that you've seen our design, let's talk about how much it's going to cost. So you can see that we did 5 phases, as Yamini mentioned, and the overall project cost, including development costs, is going to be $23.5 million. With about half of that, this $14.3 million is going to be for the first phase. So it's very cost heavy in the beginning, but then the cost lessens as you move on through the phases, and there's time between phases for fundraising. So in order to activate this project, there's going to need to be significant fundraising. One of the main ideas I had about how to raise money is to put an office in Como to provide information. Putting it in the Como neighborhood would enable the donors and the public who are interested in the project to drive through the neighborhood and see the environment that children are living in, and they would feel more of a connection to the project and maybe more of an urgency to donate money to make an impact in their lives. Facilities management, for the operating expenses, again, it's phased out. I didn't include phase 5 because phase 5 is the outdoor buildings, outdoor recreation area. So for phase 1, the annual operating cost is going to be $522,000. And then in the end, once everything is built out, it'll be $934,000. So for social cultural value, I believe the main social cultural value this project will bring to the students is providing them healthy social interactions. Economic value, the big one is the long-term economic benefit of improving the children's education so that later in life they can get better employment, they'll have higher paying jobs, pay more taxes, and they won't necessarily be a tax burden needing governmental assistance. Environmental value, we cut a lot of green space, and we avoided building in the floodplain to minimize the environmental impact, and we used dorms, as Laura said, instead of cottages to help minimize sprawl across the site and allow for easier future additions. The sensory value, the red barn is going to be an icon for the school. There's 5 bodies of water, and we incorporated those into our site layout to encourage people to use those areas. To summarize, for the land, the red outline is kind of the general area of our site, but we're really focusing on this part of the site for the school. There's some different easements and utility connection problems and the floodplain, but we avoided building in the floodplain, and there might be possibility to get property tax exemptions through the farm or through religious or nonprofit. Labor, the main point is you need a passionate development team who's going to be excited about the project. They can work together to market the project if they're excited about it, and they'll really make an impact for the students. And then to sum up the capital, the overall development cost is going to be $23.5 million for this project with an annual operating budget of $930,000 once complete.